spring of 1258, the sky above Viet darkened with the dust of hooves. The Mongol horde, a storm of iron and thunder, descended upon a land of bamboo and river mist. To the world, it was already decided. The greatest empire on earth would devour another small kingdom. But that day, the land itself refused to kneel.
Countless horses, like tides that blot out the earth. We have only the courage to face their storm. Is that enough?
If courage alone could pierce armor, Your Majesty, we would already be immortal.
From the ridge of Bin Lan Guyen, King Trần Thái Tông watched his banners flutter in the wind. A monarch born to peace, now forced to carve destiny in fire.
They hide behind elephants and prayers, break their line, shatter their spirit, leave no path to flee. Drums, forward the elephants. Let them see that even bamboo can roar.
Before them, the Mongol army formed ranks with chilling precision. Rows of mounted archers, banners of the great king rippling like black wings. And from the shadows of the forest, the sound of war drums began to rise.
Hold the line! Keep the elephants together! Push them back to the river! Don't fight the beasts, strike the space between them. Divide and drown them in panic.
The ground trembled beneath the charge. A thunder not from heaven but from the earth itself. Spears met arrows, men met fate.
They're cutting through! We can't hold! Not here. Not yet. A king who dies today loses tomorrow. Signal the retreat! Fall back to the ridge! Live, so we may strike again!
He gave not an order of surrender, but of survival. For the field lost could be won again, yet a dead king wins no wars. And in that retreat lay the seed of a nation's defiance. Night fell over the plains of Bin Lan Guyen. Smoke from burning fields clung to the stars like ghosts refusing to leave. The Mongol army had taken the field, but not the war. For in the silence beyond defeat, a greater decision was being forged. One that would turn the land itself into a weapon.
We lost the ground, not the war. But each step they take forward will find nothing but ashes. My lord, you would burn our own cities? Starve our own people? Would you rather watch them live as slaves? We must take from the invader what he needs most. Food, shelter, comfort.
Your Majesty, Thăng Long itself, you would burn the capital?
If we burn our own halls, they cannot sit upon our throne. If we empty our own granaries, they cannot feast on our rice. So this is Thăng Long, the city that dared defy the Khan?
They must be hiding, Commander. Waiting in the jungles.
Thăng Long, once a city of bells and traders, now an empty echo of itself. The Mongols entered not through battle, but through silence. No bodies, no prisoners, no victory to taste. Only ash and the slow decay of triumph.
Search every quarter. If they've fled, find where. If they're hiding, flush them out.
Commander, there are no footprints. No food. Even the wells are dry.
They burned it all before we came. A city that kills itself to deny us victory. Such madness.
By nightfall, the streets whispered with unseen movement, the sound of wind or of something watching. Even the Mongols who had broken a continent felt unease creep through their ranks.
Sir, the men say they hear drums at night. No one sees who beats them.
Fear makes ghosts out of rats. Tell them to keep watch, not stories.
But as he spoke, even Aju began to feel it. The weight of unseen armies. The Empire's banners fluttered above empty towers. And yet the conqueror could not shake the feeling that he had stepped into another battle.
Let them come back. I want a real fight. I want them to bleed, not evaporate like smoke.
In that silence, he dreamed of shadows moving at the edge of firelight. arrows in the dark, voices speaking a language that cut sharper than steel. Weeks passed, and the Mongol banners that once glimmered with pride now hung heavy with dust. The further they marched, the emptier the land became. No villages to plunder, no rice to steal, only the endless murmur of insects and hunger. Then one morning, along the banks of a slow great river, the land struck back.
We are chained to the earth. No food, no scouts returning, and the air itself stinks of rot.
Commander, our men have begun boiling their leather straps for broth. Even the horses grow weak.
They think the Empire feeds them. The Empire feeds only the strong. Move the wagons faster, we reach Thien Mac before nightfall.
But the Đại Việt had learned patience. They waited not for the Mongols to find them, they waited for the Mongols to starve. When the horses began to falter, when the wagons creaked slower, when confidence dulled into hunger, they struck.
No drums, no horns. We strike when the wagons touch the river. Aim for the oxen fangs, starve the army faster.
The riverbank erupted, not with thunder from heaven, but with the hiss of bamboo and the scream of arrows.
Prepare for battle! For the great Khan!
But the forest was no enemy to the Viet. It was an ally. They struck, vanished, and struck again. And in the river's reflection, the Empire saw its own invincibility drowning.
No! Attack now! Push them back! Victory is ours!
By dusk, the great supply line of the Mongol army lay in ruins. Famine now marched beside them, an enemy no sword could kill. The scorched earth had drawn its first real blood. By the time the Mongols reached Thien Mac, their horses stumbled more than they galloped. Armor rusted from the rain, arrows warped from the swamp air. Behind every tree, behind every whisper of wind, Đại Việt waited.
They are hungry, sick, and blind to what waits. Now, we strike where their pride has no shield. The enemy still believes we are scattered, my lord. Our scouts report their camp lies open along the river's bend.
As the first light of dawn spilled across Thien Mac, the jungle came alive, not with birdsong, but with the whisper of blades drawn from bamboo sheaths.
The rain stopped. Good. We move at midday. The scouts will clear the river crossing.
Commander, our men grow weaker by the hour. Some say the jungle itself fights us.
Then we burn the jungle. Fear dies faster in fire.
From both banks of the Thien Mac, Đại Việt poured down like the flood itself. Arrows rained, bamboo spears struck, and the Mongol legend finally met the one enemy it could not command, the land.
Now, while they choke on their own smoke. Archers, ready! Spearmen, forward!
It was not a battle. It was vengeance made flesh. The empire that feared nothing now trembled before a kingdom it had called small.
We're surrounded! The river itself is alive! Hold the bridge! Rally to me! We fight our way out, or we die here!
Now, for every field burned, for every home lost or saved, strike them down!
And just like that, the storm broke. What entered as thunder fled as a whisper. The Mongol horde that had never known defeat vanished into the mist, leaving behind their dead, their banners, and their pride.
Retreat! Fall back to the northern road! Sound the horns! Retreat!
By the time the last Mongol hoofprints faded beyond the northern hills, Thăng Long lay silent, not in ruin, but in rebirth. The fires had cooled, the rivers ran clear again. Yet for those who survived, the echoes of war still clung to every breath of wind.
Your Majesty, we have little left, but the fields will grow again. We will plant even in the ashes.
The victory at Thien Mac had driven the Mongols back across the frontier, but Trần Thái Tông knew this was no ending. The empire that ruled from the steppe would return again and again until the world itself grew weary.
Victory. Tell them we endured. That is enough. History will remember this day, my lord. That we stood where empires fell. History remembers kings, but the land, it remembers the nameless, the farmers who burned their fields.
And so Đại Việt stood alone, battered but unbroken. It had defied the storm not through strength of arms, but through unity, cunning, and the quiet resilience of those who refused to kneel. In the years that followed, the Mongols would return, but so would the spirit that burned brighter than any empire's flame. In the end, it was not victory that defined Đại Việt, but endurance. Empires conquer with fear. Kingdoms survive with faith. History remembers the sound of thunder, the clash of empires, the fall of kings. But listen closer, and you'll hear something quieter. The heartbeat of a people who refused to vanish. They burned their fields, yet fed a nation. They lost their homes, yet guarded a kingdom. And though the fire they lit faded to ash, its light still travels, carried in every breath of this land. For empires rise and crumble like waves against rock, but the soul of a free people that endures beyond time, beyond kings, beyond fire. This was not just a victory of arms. It was the triumph of spirit, the legacy of the flame that refused to die.